Welcome to episode 21 of the Gingerspyce Tiefling Druid. In this episode, I'm going to be doing the Spinner of Shadows here in the harbor, and I am level 21. We'll take a look at where things are by starting with the gear. I have made some gearing changes. I do have some gaps in my gear, and I'll mention that. I haven't spent a lot of time working on my epic gear. Usually I move through epics really quickly, just doing a lot of slayers and dailies like I mentioned, so don't stress out too much about the gear, but I do want to mention some gaps after I show what I'm using. So in the Shard of Power, this is a new crafted Insightful Spell Save 3, Sheltering 25, Spell Focus Mastery plus 3. Still got the Torque and the Pansophic Circlet. This is a new crafted set of goggles, replacing the Concordant Opposition, so I lose some stacking spell points from that, as well as some points to my Intimidate skill from the Charisma skills on the Concordant Opposition. But here I've got Blindness Immunity slotted, Insightful Evocation Focus 2, and Insightful Wisdom 4, and then Wisdom 10. So big Wisdom and Insightful Evocation Focus there. This is the Epic Red Dragonplate armor that comes out of the Vault of Night raid. It's something that has to be crafted. You have to get the shard of the red dragon, and then you have to craft another set of dragon armor on a giant hold, and then you have to put that together in that crafting device, that epic crafting device with like a bunch of dungeon tokens. You'll want to look it up on the wiki and how to craft it. It's kind of weird. It's a very unique epic crafted item in the way that you have to do this. In the event, this has much higher, well, a bit higher armor bonus than the Scales of the Exile that I was using. Because I'm not using Scales of the Exile anymore, I no longer have the Wayward Warrior set bonus, so I lose the 2 artifact and natural armor, but that is more than made up for by the fact that the Epic Red has higher armor bonus, but I do lose an artifact bonus to Constitution, so I lost 1 Constitution there. But I really wanted to show this piece of gear, that this is an option. It is a very difficult piece of gear to acquire, but I still wanted to show it. The Shard of the Red Dragon is a pretty rare drop out of the Epic Vault of Night raid. But this is my source of resistance. I could have a higher crafted resistance item, but it was most convenient for me to just slot it in the blue slot, resistance 6. The vitality is redundant with the vitality on the shield, so probably should replace that, but like I said, I move through epics pretty quickly, and I'm not going to stress about every last thing as I move through epics. Really just want to make sure that I have most of the basics covered, and then of course once I get to endgame, then I'm going to be more serious about making sure everything is covered. This is also a source of combustion and fire lore. This is the highest fire lore. I actually have fire lore on another piece of gear right now, but this is higher. It's got fire guard, incineration guard on it, so kind of interesting. Nothing you necessarily want to go out of your way for. It has 40 fire resistance. And then I have it bound and attuned with the alchemical armor defense for 1 stacking armor class. The bracers are the same, the big 45 stacking hit points from the green steel mineral 2. This is a new crafted ring, double slotted legacy blank with false life, insightful constitution 4 and constitution 10. Slotted with exceptional constitution 1 and death block. It's a new crafted set of boots. I crafted these at level 21 because of the way that the power levels tier. It's the plus 10 ability, like Dex 10 and Con 10, that's power level 21. So if I crafted this at level 20, it would have been Dex 9 and Con 9, so that's why they're 21. So another legacy double slotted blank that I crafted onto, so Dex 10 parrying 4. Insightful Spell Sight 9, slotted with Strength 6, just so I don't get encumbered too easily, and a Topaz of Evocation. Topaz of Evocation is worth mentioning here, or emphasizing here, that a lot of people don't know this, that those augments, the Topaz of Evocation and the Greater Evocation, or Greater any spell school, those do stack with like everything else. Even though it says enhancement bonus, it does stack with like everything else. So that is a level 16 augment. It would have been optimal for me to slide that in somewhere at level 16, but I didn't have any gear that I used that was above level 15, so I didn't want to slot it with a 16 augment and then raise the minimum level. But ideally, if there was some way to work it into a level 16 piece of gear, that would have been great, but I do have it now. Still got the Blurfinger gloves for the big stacking 25% lesser displacement mischance. This is a new crafted ring. Insightful Physical Sheltering 12, Devotion 115, Charisma 10, slotted with Sapphire of Armor Agility +2. Thruming Spark Cord is still there for the stacking glaciation and magnetism. It's also my source of lightning lore. I'm using the Epic Cloak of Flames here, so the old cloak that I was using before, I didn't need the wisdom anymore, and I'm missing Intimidate and Insightful Magical Sheltering, so I could continue to use this to get the Intimidate and Magical Sheltering, but I decided to go with the cloak and use this for my source of combustion and fire lore. Actually, fire lore is already on the armor, but I did have the Diamond of Exceptional Wisdom and Sapphire of Good Luck +2 in there. So, either way, remember that the gear that I'm showing you is not, I'm not trying to say this is optimized or that you need to use every last, all the stuff that I'm using is just showing you the way that I gear up, and it's going to give you some gearing ideas. That's all this is about. So got the Giant's Platter, and this is still giving me the Seasons of Change set, even though I don't have the Wayward Warrior set. The armor was the other piece, the Scales of the Exile, that's gone now, but I still have the Sickle to comprise the Seasons of Change set, which is the artifact bonus evocation DC and fire and cold spell power. But I did switch over to the Wild Frost. I was using the Wild Flame before. I chose the Wild Flame because, well, one, I thought I was going to go with substituting the fire spell power for the cold spell power with this Infernal Sovereign Cold here, but I just decided not to go that route. Maybe later in endgame, if it makes more sense to do that, maybe I'll take a look at that again, but I just decided to go with without it. And I also, the other reason I went with the Wild Flame is because it had the Evocation Focus +3, which is more important to me than Conjuration Focus +3, which is on the Wild Frost. However, I have +3 to all schools with Spell Focus Mastery on the Trinket now, so I don't need either one of them on the Sickle. So this becomes a higher source of Ice Lore, just a couple more than what's on the Thruming Spark Cord. It's also got Insightful Glaciation 45 and bigger Glaciation than I had before, so I do have higher cold spell power than before. Nothing in the red slot, so that's what I'm using for now. There's actually nothing new on the enhancement side to mention because I am level 21. So feats, I picked up, let's see, the Completionist feat. Do want to mention something here. A lot of people make it a point to pick up the Completionist feat right there at level 3, which is as soon as you can get it, and because they think that the extra intelligence that they're getting from, because it's +2 to all ability scores, they're thinking that gives them more skill points, but it doesn't. You do not get more skill points from the extra intelligence that's granted from the Completionist feat. So the reasoning is, you get 2 more intelligence from the feat, therefore that's 1 more, skill point every level, but you don't get that from that feat. So, don't stress about getting Completionist right away at level 3 for that reason, because it's just not, it doesn't work that way. But it is a pretty nice feat if you can fit it in. A lot of people don't have the room for it, because their builds are a little more feat starved. It is tough to fit in, so that feat is, you have to have all of the, class pass lives, one of each one of them, to have access to that, and then you got to spend a feat slot to get that Completionist feat. And I'll show it here, just in case you're not familiar with it. And that does give a +2 bonus to all skills and ability scores. It's a really nice feat, but if you cannot fit it in to your feat set, then don't even bother trying to go for Heroic Completionist. There's, if you're not going to spend the feat to get this, then there's not really any point. And if I haven't mentioned in a video up to this point, we did a video last year about how to prioritize your past lives. So if you're a little bit newer and you're mystified or feeling overwhelmed by like where should you start, what past lives are important, Nimvin and I did a video where we talk about the different past lives and strategies for gaining them and how you can prioritize them. So I'll put a link in this video description to that if it interests you. And that's one of the points that we make in that video, is that if you're not planning on spending the feat for completionist, then don't bother going heroic completionist, because there's just so many past lives that are basically meaningless to certain builds and classes. Like as a caster druid, what the heck do I need monk and fighter past lives for, right? For example. Or if you're a melee, what the heck do you need, wizard past lives for? Okay, so let's see where we're at. So those feats, there's nothing new to mention on the spell side, of course, because you don't get any more spells. Reaper trees do have access to the level 21 stuff now, so that's tier 4 and 8. Remember, tier 2 through 6 and 8 are always on, even if you're not in Reaper mode, and there's some pretty significant bonuses to be had there. So this is +1 saving throw and +100 maximum hit points, always on, totally awesome, right? Here's 100 stacking spell points, always on, totally awesome. So I picked up the tier 4 stuff here, +1 dodge cap on Reaper mode. What is my dodge at these days? 6. Oh, but that's going to go when I'm in Reaper mode, it's going to go up. I picked up some more PRR here. I didn't go for the action boosts. I probably should get in the habit of using like this one that gives me some pretty big stacking PRR for 30 seconds. But I do, I spend some points over here. I dump this tree to get those tier 4s, and then I respent in here just kind of as just a place to put the points until I want to dump it again and get the level 27 stuff. I didn't want to have to, purchase some of these and then reset the tree. It starts getting really expensive to reset these things. I mean, look at this, 157,000. I just spent 220,000 when I reset it, a few minutes ago to pick up these. And the amount that you're paying is based on the number of points you have spent in there. Look at that, 350,000. Because I had 29 in there. 496,000 to reset this tree, because I have 41 spent there. So like I said, I don't want to spend a few points in there only to have to reset that in a few levels to pick up the level 27 stuff. Or yeah, so I don't have that kind of plat to throw away on resetting my trees every time I get to level 27. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the Reaper trees are. Oh, I wanted to mention on the gear side. So I said I was going to mention the gap. So I don't have like a healing amp item right now. That's something I'd really like to have, so my healing amplification. Only 65 right now, so not very good, especially for like a tanky tune. But like I said, as I'm epic leveling, I'm not going to stress out about everything. At this point, I've got my eye on endgame more than anything else. I'm also missing an Intimidate item, as I already mentioned, and a Insightful Magical Sheltering item, as I already mentioned. As far as the quests that I've done, I mentioned before, we did a whole bunch of dailies. We did we did like R1 Gibbers, R1 Whiz King Offering of Blood, Spies in the House, Von 3-4, Through a Mirror Darkly, and just a small number of, I think up to, not even up to 1,500 out in the King's Forest. And here's where I am. I'm almost pressed up against 23. And nothing new to mention in Epic Destiny or Twist at this point, so let's go do the quest. Alright, we're going to try R3. So I'm actually doing this the morning after I did that intro, because after the intro, like a smartass, I tried to do it on R4 solo. And, I knew that would be a tough challenge. But, I wanted the challenge, see if I could do it. And after this first hallway, I was thinking, I almost recalled out after the hallways. I was like, there's no way. But I was like, you know what? I'm here. Let's try it. it actually got through the first two spinner beatdowns, and then I got all the way, and I was like, at that point, I was emotionally committed to it. And I actually was at 2 pots deep, and I was only like 6 or 7 crystals away from finishing it. Like, I got so close. But I had this nasty champ dotting me up, and I got webline tripped, and that was it. So that was a total bummer. So I feel like I probably could do it if I really kept trying, but you know, I don't want to waste more resources. It was fun to try once. So we're doing an R3. I'm going to try not to make the mistake I did in the Northwynd series, and that was, you know, I tried a couple times on Northwynd on R2 and I failed, but I got really close. So when I did it on R1, I thought, oh, this will be real easy, and I didn't take it seriously. And I actually died on the R1 attempt in my first attempt on Northwynd. So I'm going to take this attempt seriously. But that's why I chose this video, because I did this for my level 21 video during the Northwynd series, and I wanted to sort of compare performance and just sort of already based on, you know, some of the comparisons I've done, I feel like, you know, on the second lifer compared to this tune, like all these extra path lives and Reaper points are buying me about 2 more skulls in terms of solo ability, approximately, which is an interesting data point. But also choosing this quest for the same reason that I did in Northwynd, because I think it's a challenging quest to solo. I think that if I was truly immune to knockdown, like I'm supposed to be, one of my pet peeves, then, you know, I mean, I would have definitely completed the R4. But the same thing on Northwynd, I would have completed the R2 attempt if I was immune to knockdown like I'm supposed to be. So that's a really frustrating point for me. You know, that while I'm standing against the tide, I'm supposed to be immune to knockdown, but I'm not really. I am immune to most knockdown, but not all. See, like even here on R3, I could get a nasty champ and he could wipe me right out. That's one of the things about champions and Reaper mode, and you know, the number of champions you get, the type of champions, the number of Reapers, all these things add a lot of randomness, a lot of variability. You can go on a quest on R3 and smoke it, and your next attempt on the same difficulty with the same people, you know, it can be a disaster. I've seen it happen. And I'll bet you have too. So if you have D-Door, this quest becomes a lot easier to solo. Because 1, if you ever get in a pinch, you can just D-Door back to the start, you know, and get healed up and stuff. But 2, you can also save this shrine. So if you're caster, you get D-Door. You know, that thing is... having this extra shrine is pretty huge. I'm going to go ahead and eat one of the... Oh, she already did me. So my level 20 video, I forgot to get these things. Potions of spell power. This is from the combination of Valor turn-in, right? And I actually didn't remember to get these until I was doing this in my first attempt on the R4, and so I actually got them right here in the quest. And so, you know, that's one important point, is that, you know, if you didn't know, or you run out or something like that, you can buy them right in the quest. You know, you just double click on your commendations of Valor and you can make those purchases anywhere. So I just bought some of these on the fly. Like, I was in the middle of fighting the Spinner of Shadows, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy some spell point or spell power potions. And that is a stack. That stacks with everything right there. Even, you know, like, let's see. I don't have any other sources of alchemicals. You know, there's not a lot of sources of alchemical spell power, but like the House P potions, for example, it's worded slightly different. You know, the House P potions are like alchemical bonus to cold individual spell powers, but this is an alchemical bonus to universal spell power, which is a different stat. Universal spell power is a different stat than like when it says 20, like a 25 alchemical bonus to cold spell power or whatever. So they do stack. A lot of folks still don't know that. Very important point. Grant me your essences. Oh, let's go ahead and do the Wisdom Yugo pot and the Constitution Yugo pot. You know, we're going to need every little bonus we can. Because like I said, soloing this is not easy. That is a Plague Reaper. Using Renewal and Cocoon as maintenance healing. Doesn't take for very much, but you know, if you use it regularly, it can go a long ways. So my strategy is just going to be, you know, kite stuff into a big pile and then throw down my personal hurricane. You know, the usual deal. But works well in here. I guess I... Oh, there she is. Alright. And if you need to get away from her quickly, you can always switch to Winter Wolf form and slide away. The sucky thing is you lose your elemental toughness buff if you switch to Winter Wolf form. So you do have to reapply that. Hit both of our boosts, hit her with a freezing spray, and then the dots, all the time. Ice Storm, Sleet Storm, Storm of Vengeance. Let's give her some Obscuring Darkness action too, right? Because we can. Keep the maintenance healing up on ourselves. Let's throw another thingy-dingy under those essences that the Guardian gives you. You know, these things here. You know, you throw them at her and it puts that, you know, silver flame, whatever on her. This thing, Holy Fire, and that's what makes her cower. It makes her a hell of a lot easier to fight her, you know, when she's sitting there cowering instead of swinging at you, right? I mean, I don't need her swinging at me. Come on. So I got creative in my attempt yesterday. You see, usually there's a point at which I can sneak away and use that shrine, and it's after the spider fight. But I was actually out of mana during the second Spinner of Shadows beatdown. I need to focus more on getting her down, not paying attention to my dots and stuff. And so, but I was able to sneak away and shrine while she was cowering like this. She had so many stacks on her that she just sat here, and I had enough time to actually get the shrine in, which was pretty cool. I'd never shrined at that point when I was soloing this. I don't solo this a lot, but you know, it's just kind of a fun challenge that I will do occasionally. She's going to disappear once she gets down to about, 15% or so. She's about ready to go, so I'm just going to ping her down with the SLAs and not try to waste any more spell points. There she goes. So, you know, in a really old video, before the days of Reaper, I used to like to stick to the lava side. There's no reason to do both sides. If you do both sides, you're just going to aggro a bunch of mobs and potentially spike a DA, a Dungeon Alert. And you don't want to spike a Dungeon Alert in here, right? It's nasty enough as it is. And one of the neat things about doing the lava side is that, you know, you can actually use the pools, the lava pools, to get away from the spinner. Because you can swim under the lava, and, like, there's underground tunnels of lava. So you can, like, jump in one pool and swim out another as a way to get away from the spinner if you need to. But the disadvantage of that side is that the cats can knock you down. Actually, I'm probably immune to their knockdown on this tune. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of when I did like a heroic video of it or something. Alright, well, we're kiting this stuff together, and let's go ahead and hit one of our power boosts. Earthquake, Sleet Storm, Ice Storm, Obscuring Darkness, Storm of Vengeance, a couple maintenance heals on ourselves, heal Energy Burst, let's blind them too. Start picking up these crystals. I hear the spinner. You hear like locusts or cicada sounds, you know. It's saying she's nearby or she's come back. There she is. I'm gonna snow slide. Get the hell out of Dodge quickly. Back to elemental form, reapply the elemental toughness. Let's give ourselves a displacement. And we're going to hit her with some thingy dingies. Some of those essences, make her cower. Both of the boosts. One from our regular heroic enhancement tree, and then the Reaper spell power boost. And let's pull up the examination window, because remember, you don't want to overwrite your own creeping cults. A lot of people don't know that. Especially people that don't play Caster Druid a lot. You know, they're so used to the other kinds of dots that you do want to throw them before they expire. But with the Druid dots, you specifically don't want to recast them before they expire. You're just overwriting your biggest damage if you do that. Both the spell power boosts again. All the dots. Oops. Need to use some clickies. And when I was doing that R4 attempt, I could smell victory. Like I was so close that I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink pots because I want this now. So it was a total like backbreaker when I got tripped and overrun. She's about ready to go, so we'll just, there we go, just some SLAs. Don't want to waste any big mana on her when she's just about ready to leave. So that's all we have to do for beating her down. She's going to come back, but you don't have to beat her down at that point. She's just there to make your lives miserable. Now we got Wave of Spiders. I'm going to get some more essences from the Guardian. That'll help during the final wave. Ooh, Plague Reaper. Famine Reaper. Scaring darkness. Ooh, did my shield run out? So we can get rid of that examination window, right? So after this wave is usually when I try to sneak away and get that shrine. So hopefully we can make that happen. With all these hazards here, that might be tricky. But if they're blinded, that'll help. Plus, I have a plan. Oh, there's a frickin' Fear Reaper somewhere. Where are you, Fear Reaper? Somewhere? There you are. Creeping Cold we'll get rid of. We'll finish him off. And it did. Lost Soul, take that. Had a ton of Lost Souls in here yesterday when I tried, but it's the first one so far. Plague Reaper. He's dead. Okay. So, I'm going to do Earthquake there, and I've blinded some of them. I'm going to try to sneak away and get this shrine real quick. And my plan is to do a Sleet Storm and an Earthquake, and then hope that they're going to trip and fall enough for me to get this shrine in. Even though they're right next to me, that should keep them at bay long enough for me to get this shrine in. And just like I planned. Okay, for the rest of it's just collecting thingy dingies to light these flame wards, right? Or whatever. And so for the rest of the quest, I'm just going to stay to the cave side. I'm not trying to aggro everything in the dungeon. We got enough to light 3 of these, so let's go ahead and do that. A lot of misinformation about this quest. Folks believe that if you light the wards it causes more trash. It doesn't. You can go ahead and just light them as you go. It's fine. Don't need that guy following me around. So we'll hit him with a couple dots. And if he's still alive, which he probably will be by the time we drag all this stuff together, hopefully the AoEs will finish him off. But you know, in my attempt yesterday, I had a Soul of Ice following me around, and he was hitting me some pretty nasty dots, and I should have made more of an effort to take him out instead of just kiting him with, you know, everything, and that probably would have made the difference. But like I said, I got webline tripped, and that was really the, you know, the nail in the coffin. Oh, it almost took him out. So we've got Train. We're going to go ahead and hit both the power boosts and then do the regular personal hurricane action. She's got some big hits on me, and it looks like I got some dots or something. I don't know what that's about. Some nasty champion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw another Earthquake, and then use these essences to make her freak out. If I can get a target on her, there we go. Throw a couple of these essences at her, and then she cowers. Give me some breathing room, and she trips me. Can shield block while I'm tripped. Remnant, thank you. Ooh, look at all of our little ward crystals. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Give them to me. Alright. Oh no, webline tripped and I'm at half health. Remember, if you want to get away quickly, just do the Winter Wolf and Snow Slide away. Oh damn, that was close. Did you see that? I got that spider venom on me, so you can go into here and get that get it off of you. Yeah, that was troublesome yesterday too. I'm gonna go ahead and light that one and that one. So we need 4 times 4, 16. We already got 1, so we need 15 more of those thingy dingies. And looks like she got rid of some of my buffs. He's almost dead. Let's give him a regular creeping cold. He's almost dead. We're gonna go ahead and do another train. Doing the maintenance healing. Let's double back. I hit both the boosts, earthquake, ice storm, sleet storm, yada yada. And let's go ahead and hit her with some essences. So she freaks out a little bit. There she goes. Alright, time to wait for some more spawns. There's the Lady of the Hour. Webline trip. You know, they say if you shield block when they first hit you with that you can block that, but it's not. If that does anything, it's not 100%, because I've definitely been tripped even when she does that. She took off my freedom. Death Ward. Elemental toughness. Okay, we're just gonna build up a little train again. This should work. Get the first few pieces of our hurricane up, and then we're gonna throw a couple thingy dingies at her to chill her out. That didn't last long. I got 2 more essences left. I got 9 thingy dingies. I think I need 12. So we got the 10th one inbound. There, now we got more spawns. This should be our final round, right? Hit him with a spell to get his attention. Actually, I think I have enough now. Okay, we'll hit both of the boosts. Oh, I only had one other of the Reaper left, so throw down the Hurricane. I got 2 essences left. We're gonna go ahead and hit the spinner with that. Chills her out a little bit. Obscuring Darkness. We need to reapply freedom on ourselves because she's debuffing us. Crystal, crystal, crystal. I've got mana to burn, so I'll throw a Greater Creeping Coal in him. Oh, here's another one. And another one, and that should be it. Okay, Winter Wolf form. Snow slide the hell out of dodge. And unless I miscounted, then we should be good to go. Let's get that spider venom off of us just so it doesn't get too nasty. Well, the R3 attempt went definitely. What? Oh! Damn it. Okay. Let's not pat ourselves on the back yet. I miscounted. I need 4 more of those damn things. Ginger. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3 and 4. Okay. Now we got Hezrus up the wazoo. There's 1. 2. Should get rid of our freedom. Just gonna reapply that. Alright, 3. Don't die. Oh, that would be terrible if I died now. And webline trip. See, I was blocking. Okay, now I can say that the R3 attempt was definitely easier than the R4. Definitely went smoother. I had some real close. I had a close call here, but I had a few real close calls in the R4 attempt. Well, it's fun to do that on R3 as a challenge. Like I said, it is challenging to solo, and like I've said before, a lot of these videos I'm doing are just to challenge myself. I'm not trying to say you should take my build and solo R3 Spinner Shadows. I mean, you can if you want to. It's definitely a challenge, but it was pretty cool to do that. And now we get to wait for Loth to do her thing. I remember when this content came out. This was a prelude to the Caught in the Web, our first expansion. I mean, the Menace of the Underdark. And it was very exciting to see Loth in the game for the first time. But I was so disappointed that, we fight Loth as sort of a projection of Loth instead of fighting her in spider form like we see her in Beyond the Rift. Basically Loth looks like the Spinner of Shadows, but a little bit bigger. And I really wanted to fight Loth in her spider form in the Great Fane of Loth. If you're not a pen and paper person, the Great Fane of Loth is like her own compound. So I really wanted to visit that. So that was a bit of a disappointment, and I always hoped to revisit that storyline, but don't think that's going to ever happen at this point. Menace of the Underdark came out in 2012, so it's been 7 years. That was when the level cap was raised to 25. Yeah, we take those off our hotbar and those off our hotbar. And we can replace our throwing weapon wherever that is. Somewhere. It's not jumping out at me. Oh, there it is. Alright. Now we finish it. Thanks for watching. Any questions about my build, you can respond to my build post in the Druid forum. And if you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube.